Morning Answer continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson. America First with Sebastian Gorka, weekday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. So at least two of those migrants charged with assaulting those New York City police officers the other week.
Yeah, I saw them. They were in court on Friday.
At least two of them have been identified as members of Tren de Aragua, the Train, which is a Venezuelan street gang. A Venezuelan street gang that, as I understand it, is sort of on the order of MS-13, the Salvadorian street gang. Now, unlike what Bukele did in El Salvador to crack down on MS-13, we here in America are inviting them in. And Tren de Aragua members as well. And now there's been some reporting that there may be a combination of forces or some sort of strategic alliance between these South American, Central American gangs.
Great.
Mm-hmm. But again, it's a small price to pay to call yourself a member of a welcoming community. Okay. For more on this, please be joined by Michael Brown, Global Director of Counter-Narcotics Technology at Rigaku Analytical Devices. He's a former senior DEA special agent. Michael Brown, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for the invitation.
So what about these foreign street gangs sort of individually as well as the reporting on them collaborating?
You know, what we're seeing occurring now are individuals coming into the United States under the title of migrants seeking asylum, when many of these individuals are actually associated with other gangs associated in the United States. Now, in reference to Tren de Agua, right, they have an association with MS-13. And here's what I'm concerned about. MS-13 has an association with the Jalisco organization in Mexico, the Mexican Mafia Sinaloa group, and also the Zetas. MS-13, they function as the action arm, the sicarios for these organizations. They commit contract murders, kidnappings, extortions. They're not what I would call traditional drug trafficking organizations, but MS-13 is the execution arm for very dangerous cartels. So what happens when we have thousands of Tren de Agua members now joining forces with MS-13? That creates a major security threat for the United States.
Well, what are they doing? I mean, like the two people that beat up the police officers that are part of this gang, before they did that to the officers, they had a long list of arrests for grabbing people's cell phones and their purses, retail theft as well. Are they taking the money and the proceeds for that and giving it to their gang leader?
Well, two issues here. Number one, there are probably 24 to 25 active gangs in New York. So there's a very small area where Tren de Agua can operate. So now they're targeting the public, right? They're stealing cell phones, they're committing robberies. Those cell phones are then hacked, and people's bank accounts and other financial institutions are attacked. The cell phones are sent to Mexico where they're reprocessed and sold. So this creates, a new high level of street gang activity. And additionally, these gangs bring a very anti-police mentality to the United States. In Venezuela, these gangs, they assault police, they kill police. So there's no hesitation when they come to the United States in attacking the police. But when they're released without cash bail, within hours, that sends a very dangerous message to these gang members that they can attack the police in this country and there's no retaliation.
Yeah, they gave us the year number one signal to communicate their attitude toward law enforcement in this country and the enforcement of laws, both directions. And so, yeah, it's all fun and games when you watch when you watch Narcos on Netflix. To have it on your streets may be a little less enjoyable. I wonder if that's starting to resonate in places like Chicago, New York. Not really, it seems. Some of these organized robbery crews, burglary crews. We had one that was busted up in suburban Lake County, north of Chicago. So how do those pieces fit together? Is this just sort of freelancers, or do they have crews that are focused on burglary rings, high-end burglary rings, and then crews that are the sicarios, as you say, and then crews that are doing human trafficking. Is this, I mean, we've seen from some of the documentaries on these cartels, they're run like multinational corporations. They have division of labor. They have some level of sophistication, and I wonder how sophisticated are these new gangs that are establishing bigger footprints in the United States.
Well, if you look at the individuals who were arrested in New York, these were 15, 16-year-olds. These were like teenagers, right?
Right.
So there's not a lot of organization they're bringing with them. The danger is, again, their association with MS-13, and MS-13's association with established Mexican drug cartels in Mexico. Now, those cartels, in my opinion, conceive thousands of these new Tren de la Agua members as an expansion of their already expansive criminal organizations in the United States. And again, we're talking about contract murders, drug trafficking, robberies, and these groups now establishing new territory by challenging existing gangs in New York, which we could see an increase in what we call gang war retaliation, which we're seeing in Chicago, where we have 30 to 40 shootings a week or weekend.
Right. So, yeah, give us a picture of what that looks like in a place like Chicago that is already the most violent big city in America on a per capita basis. What does that look like if you add Tren de Aragua, MS-13, or some combination of the two, with that are purposed to expand their territorial control?
Well, Chicago, one of the largest gangs in Chicago is the Latin Kings. Mm-hmm. You also have MS-13 in Chicago. So, MS-13 and the Latin Kings are more so rivals than working together. So when you look at Chicago, you have a very small space where these gangs operate. And as you put more gang members in there, now you have competing gang activities. And those competing activities will at some point cause friction. And when we say friction in relation to gangs, we're looking at gang warfare. Innocent civilians being shot by random gun rounds, the collateral damage, the damage to the community, to the economic structure. It's almost cancer, I would say, like stage one is what we're seeing occurring in Chicago and New York.
Well, what about their distribution of, drugs, including fentanyl, that is killing so many people? I mean, the former CEO of Google, his son, who was a freshman at UC Berkeley, he died over the weekend from an accidental fentanyl. I'm sorry.
YouTube.
Okay.
Right, I saw that. And again, we're looking at the cartels. We're looking at Sinaloa. We're looking at the new Jalisco Generation Cartel, which are the two largest cartel franchises in the United States, responsible for bringing in the majority of fentanyl in the fake pills or powder in terms of kilograms. And again, these gangs are distribution arms. Not only the Hispanic gangs, but you have the African American gangs, you have the Southeast Asian gangs, and fentanyl is what I would call the golden goose. It is making these gangs millions of dollars on a weekly basis. So now we have the influx of billions of dollars over the years going into gang infrastructure, which allows them to expand across the United States. I was just talking to some police officers in Montana where fentanyl pills are selling for $100 a pill. They're being invaded by gangs coming from the Northeast section, moving fentanyl into the northwestern parts of the United States.
So what does DEA know? And by that I mean, we at the local level, Chicago police know who the gangs are, know who the gangbangers are. Same thing with suburban communities that have a gang problem. And so what kind of handle does DEA have on the activities and the personnel of MS-13, of Tren de Aragua, the interaction you're talking about, or their involvement with the larger drug cartels from Mexico? The point of me asking that is sort of to say, look, if you had an administration that was serious about interdicting these individuals and stopping their activity, we know who they are. We know what would need to be done to stop them. It's a matter of political will. Or is the DEA, federal law enforcement, flying blind at all on this?
DEA worked very successfully with state and local organizations in the HIDTA groups, high-intensity drug trafficking groups. They did a great investigation in Long Island. They took down a section of MS-13. But here's the problem. It goes to the border, right? Last year, 2.5 million individuals come across that border, a large number of which I would consider drug cartel members, gang members, the gotaways, human trafficking aspect. So there's a replenishment. So DEA and state and local take down, say, 100 gang members in New York or Chicago. There's another 150 that are coming on their way. So Mexico, Central South America are a limitless source of new affiliates or unaffiliated gang members that can come into the United States as teenagers, which means what? They'll get accepted much easier than if they were grown adults. So that 15 or 16-year-old who comes in 2023 is now 20 or 22 in the next 5 years. Now he's a hardcore gang member, right? And that creates an evolution in the gang mentality, again, bringing very violent gang culture from Central and South America now into the United States, which is not prepared for that level of conflict.
But if there was integration and if there was seriousness about border enforcement, would the DEA, in conjunction with Customs and Border Patrol, be able to say, these guys coming in right here, we know they're MS-13, we know that guy's Tren de Aragua, from their tats or because you have essentially dossiers on them, particularly at the leadership level, like we have people on the terrorist watch list that you can check, you can bounce up against a database. If we were serious about this, could we stop much of this inflow of known gang members?
Well, here's the issue. It's a matter of intelligence. When I was with DEA in Pakistan, we worked with, many agencies trying to vet individuals and determine if they were Taliban or Al-Qaeda. These organizations are very smart. They're going to find people who don't have any criminal record. They're going to find people who have no affiliation with terrorist organizations, and then they're going to push them through the system because they know we have a database. Now, when we look at the database and the intelligence for individuals coming in across the southern border, we don't have great relations with Venezuela, Honduras, Nicaragua, where we can tap into their criminal database and identify some of these individuals. Well, I think CBP and DEA are doing an outstanding job of targeting and removing those individuals that they can identify based on fingerprints or tattoos. But that's a very, very small number when you look at the hundreds of thousands of individuals that are coming across that border every month. So, again, the cartels are very smart and sophisticated in their application and recruiting members who don't have criminal records, who can come across the border and then disappear into the homeland.
Right. And instead, we have no relationship with Bukele, which we should, because he could help with MS-13. And we have Maduro in Venezuela, incredibly threatening to send more criminals to the United States if we impose any sanctions on that dictatorship. It's just stunning, really. And of course, Kamala Harris was our liaison to the Northern Triangle countries. That worked out beautifully. Michael Brown, Global Director of Counter-Narcotics Technology at Rigaku Analytical Devices, former senior DEA special agent as well. Michael, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Retirement Outlook.
If your retirement account is mostly stocks or bonds, listen closely. The future of your savings may be more uncertain than ever before. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals. The sad truth is, our government continues to eat away at our freedoms and security. In economic times like these, run around the flagpole by lunatics in Washington, I look to the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver that you own. At Colonial Metals, we specialize in helping folks with IRAs and 401ks and other retirement accounts move their savings into physical gold and silver. If you'd like a free gold investment kit, give us a call today at 820-800-8000. My team is standing by ready to rush a free gold investment kit to you. You may also qualify for $7,500 in free silver and a free safe. Call 820-800-8000 now. That's 820-800-8000.
Colonial Metals is not a financial advisor. Consult with your advisor before investing.
That's 820-800-8000.
All right. Have you done something for yourself lately? Have you taken care of your temple? I mean, your body. Of course, I'm talking about balance of nature, because a lot of people aren't getting enough fruits and veggies on their own, and that's where balance of nature comes in. 31 different fruits and vegetables, real food, real science, real nutrition. They take the fruits and veggies and put them into a powder after an advanced vacuum cold process, which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. So give your body what it deserves, the best fuel possible. Balance of nature. I take 6 capsules a day, 3 fruits, 3 veggies, and voila. The number to call is 800-246-8751, 800-246-8751, or go to balanceofnature.com. And in both cases, be sure to use discount code Chicago.
At Inspired Closets Chicago, there's no place they can't transform. Life is busy, and an organized space helps calm the chaos and bring order to your family's daily grind. Inspired Closets Chicago takes care of everything from start to finish. From your free in-home design consultation to developing your 3D design through installation, Inspired Closets Chicago makes it easy so you can enjoy the process. Learn more at inspiredclosetchicago.com or visit one of their showrooms for inspiration. Proud sponsor of Food for the Poor.
As a local business owner, you get called every week by marketing companies. We get it. We have hundreds of satisfied